Place. My name is Arthur Miles, but most people call me Art. I'm 79 years old, and 6 months ago, my closest friend died. His name was Henry. We'd known each other for 4 years. It felt like someone erased an entire chapter of my life. Of a life.
Before I tell you about losing him, I want to tell you how we met.
It was 1969. I was 25, working as a junior mechanic at a small repair garage right here in Cleveland. Henry walked in on a Monday morning, wearing a jacket that didn't quite fit and carrying a lunchbox that looked older than both of us. We were put on the same shift that week. We didn't talk much at first. Mostly just nodded at each other. Both of us were nervous, trying not to mess up or get yelled at by the boss at the end of that first day, as we were locking up. Henry turned to me and asked if I wanted to grab a cup of coffee. That one cup of coffee turned into 54 years of friendship. There was nothing flashy about it. We were just two ordinary men who met at work and simply kept showing up for each other. Through everything. Through marriages, through divorces. Through our kids being born and then moving away. Through all the quiet disappointments life hands. Without any warning, Henry got married in 1971. I stood right next to him at the altar. Then, I got married in 1974, and he stood right next to me. His wife Elaine and my wife Margaret became friends almost immediately. Every single Saturday evening, the four of us would get together for dinner. We'd rotate houses, but it was always the same routine. Nothing fancy. We'd play cards after dinner, drink coffee till late into the night. Back then, I didn't realize just how rare that was. Not because life was some big adventure, but because it was steady, consistent. I've learned that real friendship isn't about constant excitement. It's about that consistency. It's about knowing someone will be there. Henry and I worked together at that gouge for nearly a decade. When it finally closed down, our lives went in different directions. He went to work for the city. I took a leap and opened a small shop of my own. We didn't see each other every single day anymore, but we never, ever stopped showing up. When my mother passed away in 1988, Henry didn't give some big speech. He didn't try to fix the situation or offer advice. He just stood right beside me at the service, one hand on my back. And somehow, that was more than enough. When his daughter went through a really rough period in the early 90s, Henry blamed himself for it all. I remember reminding him of something he once told me: you can love someone with all your heart, but you still can't control their choices. Years later, she turned her life around. And Henry never stopped being proud of her. That's what time does. It doesn't erase the pain, but it softens it. It gives you perspective. In 2006, my Margaret died. Ovarian cancer. I was 62 years old and suddenly all alone in a house that was overflowing with memories. Henry showed up every single day for weeks after. He'd bring soup. He'd just sit with me. He let me talk or not talk. He never once told me to be strong. He just stayed. When his Elaine died in 2012, it was my turn. I found Henry sitting at his kitchen table, just staring into nothing. I pulled up a chair and sat right next to him, and we didn't say a single word for hours. We didn't need to. After that, we made a new routine. Monday and Friday mornings. We'd go to the same little cafe, sit at the same corner table, and get the same order. We'd talk about the weather, the news, old stories we'd already told each other 100 times. Those conversations weren't about anything important, but they were everything. As we got older, we started looking backward more than we looked forward. We'd remember people who were gone, choices we made, the roads we didn't take. It wasn't about sadness. It was just an acknowledgement, a shared history. Then, last year, Henry started forgetting things. At first, it was harmless stuff, forgetting a name, a date. Then it wasn't. The diagnosis came quietly, early dementia. I could see he was scared. Scared of disappearing while he was still alive. I reminded him of something else he'd once told me. Long ago we face what's in front of us. That's all we can do. The last few months were hard. Some days he knew who I was. Some days he didn't. But I kept showing up. I kept sitting with him. 6 months ago, Henry had a stroke. I was there. I held his hand. I told him he didn't have to fight anymore. And then he was gone. I've lost a lot of people in my life. But losing Henry was different. He was the last person alive who remembered who I used to be. When he died, a part of my history, my own story, went with him. Now, I wake up on Monday and Friday mornings, and for just a moment, I forget. I think about heading to the cafe. Then I remember. The chair is empty. People mean well. They tell me to make new friends, join groups, stay busy. But at my age, you don't replace a friendship like that. You just learn to live with the space it leaves behind. So, if there is one thing I want you to take from this long story, it is this. Don't assume you have time. Don't postpone that call, that visit, that connection. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Show up for your people now. Because one day, the chair across from you will be empty and no amount of regret in the world will ever fill it. If this story meant something to you, please, reach out to someone who matters, tell them you appreciate them, and if you'd like to share your own story of friendship, please leave a comment below. I read every single one. Thank you for listening.